In today's class, we'll learn how to draw and shade a simple and realistic rose step by step. This lesson focuses on understanding petal structure, shading, and creating depth to bring the rose to life. First, we start with the outline. Begin by drawing a small spiral in the center. This will be the core of the rose. From the spiral, slowly start building the petals, and you can add the inner petals first, then gradually move to the middle layers. Remember that roses have multiple layers of petals, so observe carefully the curves and keep adding them step by step. Now draw the outermost petals to complete the flower shape. Next, add a few small leaves at the bottom of the rose and draw the stem with the small spikes or thorns. And lightly sketch the leaves. We will detail them later during the shading. Now let's begin with the first layer of shading or the primary shading. Start from the innermost petal, and you have to shade lightly along the inner edges and leave the outer edges white for highlights. You have to follow the same method for each petal and keep your shading soft and smooth. Use a blending stencil or a stump to gently smudge and blend the shading evenly. Now comes the addition of second layer. So now we'll build depth with the second layer. Start again from the innermost petals and add slightly darker shading near the inner edges and keep the outer edges light. Slowly work petal by petal. Take your time, and this step is very important to make each petal stand out. You can smudge with the stencil smoothly. For the outer petals, slightly shade the edges and keep the center lighter. So here you have to build tones gradually to create a 3D effect. For the outermost petals, you can shade more along the edges and blunt smoothly with a stump or a stencil. And see to it that you leave some white spaces. Those are the light reflected areas. Now we add the final depth, darken some inner and the outer areas to enhance the contrast. So focus on the folds and overlapping petals. You have to blend everything smoothly to make the rose look soft and realistic. Now move to the small leaves below the flower and shade them lightly while leaving some highlights. So you can add a center line and blend it gently. Next, we'll shade the stem. First, you can make a outline of the stem with the horns, and you can start shading one side lighter and smudge it smoothly. Then you have to shade the other side and keep a thin highlight in the center for realism. Make sure that you don't forget to add the thorns, and these are slightly darkened parts of the stem to give depth, and you have to blend smoothly with the stencil. Now let's draw and shade the right side of the leaf. Draw the outline and the center vein. So you have to start shading from the center vein towards the outward. So keep it light near the edges and smudge the strokes outward smoothly. Add slightly darker tones near the vein and the leaf tip. And you have to leave some white areas for highlights. Smudge everything with the stencil smoothly. Finally, draw the veins coming from the center vein. Now we'll repeat the same process for the left leaf as well. So first outline, next you have to draw the center vein, and shading from the center vein you have to smudge properly, and slowly you have to add the darker tones, and lastly you have to draw the center vein and as well as the veins coming from the center vein. So keep everything smooth and balanced. Finally, add a light shadow at the bottom of the stem. This will ground the drawing and make it look more realistic. And that's it. Our realistic rose drawing is completed. Take your time with shading and blending because that's the key to realism. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and keep practicing daily. See you on day 26 with another beautiful drawing. Thank you for watching.